Hello everyone, Steve here. It's edition 1865 of your talking newspaper for Saturday the 8th of December. I'm just reaching down and right by my right hand side of my chair is Buddy.
Hello.
Hello Buds. Charlie's here.
Hello.
Hello Charlie. Now, before I start, I want to just say before I do, because I might forget at the end, that I want to thank everybody for listening to these talks over the year. I never got another team together because, well, two reasons. One, it was much easier just to arrange it with Charlie when I was going to record and start worrying about anybody else. And two, I started to actually enjoy doing these talks. Whether the listeners do, I cannot say, but I started to enjoy actually doing what I used to do as a job. It was kind of a continuation without the hassle of going into different places all the time. And before continuing, I just want to thank the other teams as well for their work, and my good old friend Charlie here for his sitting next to me for the last whatever it is weeks, listening to bits of history. Well done, Charles.
Well, I have to thank you for minding Buddy.
No. I love Buddy more than you, Charlie. He's on my love list now.
So does everybody.
He's still here, like an old friend. Right, now, today's subject. Well, before too long, another week's time, there will be a dramatic day in the House of Commons. And nobody can predict what will happen. Although when I rang William Hill to put a bet on the Brexit deal going through, they only offered me 11-8, which I thought was a tad stingy, so I didn't have a bet. And it got me thinking about this subject, and I started to think about votes of no confidence in governments. So today, that's what I'm going to talk about. And there's some very odd stories amongst these. So, Parliament was founded in 1260, and until the time of Elizabeth I, there would not be that much to say about it. Well, not on a talk as short as this. The Parliament of Elizabeth I are very cantankerous, very excitable, and they don't have parties as we know them. In the 17th century, the Parliament and the King fought the Civil War. The Parliament, of which Oliver Cromwell was a very quiet backbencher, by the way, was only voted for by 6% of the male population of the country, and was not, by any stretch of the word, a democratic institution. And there was that very dramatic moment, which many people still think is the most dramatic moment Parliament's ever had, when the King came to arrest 5 troublemakers in his coach with 50 armed men, and the Speaker, William Lenthal, said to him, I have neither eyes to see nor tongue to speak beyond the commissions of this House. And while he was saying that and refusing to hand these 5 blokes over to King Charles, they were in a boat going down the River Thames to Gravesend. Quickish. But it was a very dramatic moment. Now, in 1721, Robert Walpole becomes the first of Britain's Prime Ministers as we know it, although they were referred to then as First Lord of the Treasury. The term Prime Minister wasn't used in Britain officially, it was by everybody else, but wasn't used officially till 1905. So it's from Walpole's time that I'm going to actually start, because you would recognise Parliament from that point of view anyway. Walpole was a canny devil and a smooth operator. There was once a massive financial speculation. It was what's known as the South Sea Bubble. Everybody lost thousands in this, except for Walpole. Apparently he was the only one of the 651 MPs who didn't buy any. Hence he becomes our first Prime Minister. And he survived in office for 21 years. So put that in context. Mrs Thatcher was Prime Minister for 11 years. Mr Blair, more or less, I can't quite remember. Same, yeah, 8 was he?
2 spells, yeah.
2 spells, yeah. Lord Liverpool, 15 years. You had nothing to do with Liverpool, by the way. 15 years, he's the second most. So 21 years is a long time. And he is the first vote of confidence. In 1742, the government objected by petition to the return of the new member for Chippenham in Wiltshire. 28th of January 1842, the government motion to expel this new member for Chippenham, whose name I didn't bother to check on, was beaten by 235 votes to 236. Walpole, after 21 years, accepted this as a vote of no confidence in him. He resigned, went into the House of Lords with a great deal of money from the King George II, although his Parliament remained in office. He left the House of Commons soon after. Now, by this stage, it's 8% of the national male population that's voting for their MPs. At that time, there were 52 constituencies in Cornwall, which had the smallest county population of any county in England, and there were towns of 100,000 or certainly 70,000 people with no member of Parliament at all. It was a very curious organisation. So we come to the second one, Lord North, who was Prime Minister for 12 years, from 1770 to 1782. Now, Lord North is remembered, if he's remembered, for the loss of the American colonies. Glad to get rid of them personally, but then there you go. Lord North, in 1782, was blamed for the surrender of the British Army at Yorktown when they were trapped on a peninsula expecting to be saved by Britain's extensive Royal Navy, but for probably the only time in history, our Navy wasn't in the right place at the right time. A Whig MP, that would be a Liberal later, brought a motion into the House of Commons to end offensive operations in America. And that vote was passed by 234 to 215, which Lord North accepted as a loss of confidence, and on the 27th of February 1782, he resigned, this time with his cabinet. They all went with him. That was the first time in history that a whole government, gave up after a defeat in Parliament.